Whoa, whoa. What's up, my salty people? All my salty bitches. Oh, 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 salty bitches or hella mad. Oh, man, that arms is in smash. You're mad that ours isn't in smash. You're on my leg, but who cares about that, bitch? It's all about arms. Arms is the shit, hell, bitch. Oh man, the salt is real, people. The salt is fucking real. And welcome to another edition of DylanLasagna Live, everyone. Welcome. I hope you liked that little cringe fest that just went on. Let me get rid of this right here. We're done with that. We're done with this. And let's bring it on closer. Let's get up close and personal, y'all. We can discuss being a permamod privately noob. I'd say so. I would say so. You're a permamod. I trust you well enough to be a mod on this channel, so you're all set to go on that. But anyway, welcome. Actually, let me respond to a couple of the people in the chat before we get Anyway, welcome to DylanLasagna Live. Just had to respond to a couple of people in the chat. And again, I hope you enjoyed that little sideshow that I just put on for you. And in case you missed my general Nintendo Direct mini reactions yesterday, go check that out. It's on the channel on demand forever until YouTube decides to delete it. But oh yeah, speaking of YouTube, I mentioned yesterday that YouTube is starting to limit the quality of the videos because of internet speeds. Obviously, with what's going on in the world with COVID-19, understandably, they have to limit the video quality. So they automatically set the video to 420p, 480p. I keep saying 420 for some reason because, the weed. But if you see this stream is in 480p, just manually set it to 720p so you can get that crisp, smooth 720. Someone complimented me on how smooth my face is, yet my facial hair is hella weird. So whoever complimented me on that, thank you very much. But anyway, the mini general Nintendo Direct happened yesterday. I reacted to that accordingly. We're going to get into that. My in-depth thoughts on what exactly happened to that. Particularly my biggest takeaways from it. There was a few things that happened in that mini Nintendo Direct that I'd like to go over. And then there's obviously a lot of breaking news regarding WrestleMania 36. And things just aren't getting any better for that event. And I just gotta lay it on the line for WrestleMania because honestly, I really appreciate the fact that WWE's putting on a show for us right now. And same thing applies to Nintendo. They didn't have to put a direct, but it's been very long that that we got a direct in the first place, in spite of the whole COVID-19 situation. But it's just that obviously they still got business to take care of with the investors, and then there was nothing else to expect with in regards for the rest of the year. When it comes outside of Xenoblade 2, which did get dated in the mini direct. So at least Nintendo has in the short term with like third party stuff, which we'll get into, they got something to show to investors following the mini general Nintendo Direct. As for WWE and WrestleMania, we're going to get into all that, and it's just the hits keep on coming for WWE. I really appreciate that they're putting out a product out there, but it's just like at this point, I really don't know if I can continue to support that notion. And obviously, it's like this is coming from a huge WWE fan and a wrestling fan in general, but we're going to get into all that. And again, thank you for putting up, everyone in the chat, for putting up it with my little charade to start off this stream, because the Nintendo Direct Mini, we're going to get into this right now. The Nintendo Direct Mini happened. It shadow dropped at 7 o'clock in the morning, my time. Obviously, I couldn't react to it right away because I had stuff to take care of in the morning. Here in California, I still have to do my schooling online, because, well, I'm still in college, and I gotta do, my school went from in-person to online, so everything's pretty much remote from here. I'm stuck in the house, but, at least the Direct Mini came out. Everyone was expecting a full-blown general Nintendo Direct, but I don't think we're gonna get that until at least June. But let's talk a little bit about the Nintendo Mini Direct. Why did I dance all silly? Why did I start singing about how salty people are about ARMS once again getting a spotlight, and me not giving a shit about Byleth still? Well, because ARMS is gonna be part of the next Smash DLC, the next set of Smash DLC. It was announced yesterday that as part of Fighter Pack 6, the Wave 6 of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, an ARMS character is going to kick off Fighter Pass 2. And oh man. Oh man, hold on. I gotta rub it in people's faces here. I need to get more I gotta get more salt in the wound. I gotta get more salt in the wound here. There we go. There we go. There we go. We gotta rub it in people's faces. This is exactly how I felt with frickin' the ARMS character getting to Smash and people feeling, and this is exactly how I felt over all the salty people getting their hopes up. Well, not exactly getting their hopes up, but an ARMS character taking up a DLC slot in Smash Ultimate. Yes, I'm still kind of salty that Byleth's in there, but hey, it already happened. But an ARMS character is much better than Byleth, because that's a franchise that's not represented in Smash Bros. And then I see all these excuses and all these Twitter replies, like none of posts I made on Twitter or like on YouTube, and it's like things I've seen on Twitter, on Reddit, on even Instagram, and this is what people had to say on why ARMS doesn't deserve a spot in the Fighters Pass. But Dylan, Springman is already an assist trophy. Dylan, Ribbon Girl's already a meat costume. Every single fighter in ARMS is a spirit. ARMS was a game that didn't sell very well and was mostly forgotten by Nintendo less than a year after it came out. it's funny how people come up with these excuses and fan rules. Yeah, here I am. I'm guilty of it too for like my little charade on Bylif. When that happened, I'm guilty of it. I'll admit I was guilty of that, but not to the degree of these sons of mother lovers. Yesterday with arms, and it was funny. As soon as the announcement happened, with the arms character being announced for Smash, as soon as I heard the music, I was sold. I was sold not on the Fighters Pass, but I was sold on the arms announcement because it was like it was just finally this was a character, this was a franchise that should have been in the base game, not as an assist trophy, not as a me costume, but as a playable character. Yeah, it's like they have all these excuses that the development time for arms and like Xenoblade, like they didn't line up for like Sakurai's like plan for Ultimate, but it's like they put in Bylif and as the final fighter for Fighter Pass 1. Give me a break. I'm not a game developer, but come on, those excuses. So, either way, I'm happy. I'm very happy that Arms is finally getting proper representation in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. I will say that the announcement was kind of it could have been a little better, but obviously given the circumstances with COVID-19, the best that Nintendo could do was like give a little tease. Obviously they teased, like they gave a little picture with all the Arms characters on there, and then they had to extend the development time because of the COVID situation, and then they gave us a timetable of when it could release, obviously subject to change because of what's going on with the world. They said June that the Arms character was going to be revealed. I don't know if you watched the direct, Mini. They said the next fighter and the Arms character. Did they say the next Arms character and the next fighter was going to be announced in June? Or is it like the next fighter will be announced and released in June? I think it's the next fighter will be announced and released in June. So I think that's when we learn who the Arms fighter is. Now what this means for Fighter Pass 2, I actually brought it up yesterday in my Nintendo Direct reaction live stream about what exactly it means for the whole Fighter Pass as a whole. I think this is the one thing that I think is a big possibility, and that is like the whole Fighters Pass is going to be half and half. It's going to be split between first party and third party. So obviously I think you have the Arms character, then you got two other Nintendo representatives. Oh, so pretty much what we're talking about is yesterday's Nintendo Direct Mini. And right now I'm talking about the announcement that an Arms character is going to be one of the DLC fighters in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. So, again, with the announcement of Arms being in Smash, I do presume, I think this is the big possibility that you could see the Fighter Pass being split half first party Nintendo and half third party characters. So if we're going by this, I believe that you're going to get the Arms character. I'll go into depth who exactly that'll be. And then I think because that an Arms character was able to fill that slot, I do believe that Rex and Pyra from Xenoblade Chronicles 2, their chances pretty much reignited. I think they have a very significant chance of filling up one of the slots. Yeah, I know it hurts the chances of other third-party characters, but I think doing it this way, like giving Rex and Pirate a slot, and as well as the arms characters, are ways for Sakurai making up not putting them in the game in the first place. It also promotes both the Xenoblade Definitive Edition and Xenoblade Chronicles 2, which obviously could use a new Xenoblade 2 stage. Then I think this is the most obvious addition that they can do with another third Nintendo pick if they choose to go this route. A Gen 8 Pokemon, Generation 8 Pokemon. Obviously, Sword and Shield is out there. You have the expansion packs coming in June and December. I'm not a big Pokemon fan at all, but there are some people that are out there and use Pokemon in Smash, and they're going to be really excited for the possibility of Pokemon Gen 8 Pokemon in Smash. And I think Sword and Shield is going to be around through at least 2020. And I don't think there's going to be another Pokemon title, like a brand new one, revealed this year because of the expansion packs that just came out or just was announced. Then third, since the whole half and half thing could be a possibility, it leaves only 3 third-party characters. I still think that Crash Bandicoot is going to be one of them, just because he's one of the last remaining third-party characters to be put into Smash Bros. It obviously completes like the 90s retro war between him, Mario, and Sonic, and it would just be a big dream. Think of the big dream matchups that outside of Mario, Sonic, and Crash can have matchups with Banjo-Kazooie, Pac-Man, Mega Man. Heck, you can even throw some in other Nintendo characters like Link, the Inklings, Bayonetta, Fox, Falco, Captain Falcon, Bowser. It's like Crash is one of those remaining characters that people still would love to have. I don't know why other YouTubers don't put it in their list. Obviously, there's talk of Sora being in there, but again, you have to deal with Disney in regards to faithful representation because I don't know, Sora is not really a good representation in Smash if you don't have like the Disney based stuff in there. Obviously there are some other picks like Dante, Ryu Hayabusa, Shantae, Gino, but personally I think one of those third party slots needs to go to Crash Bandicoot to complete that like collective of Mario, Sonic, and Crash and Banjo in there, and it'll make my own life complete. So yeah, it's fair game at this point. And the other point I mentioned with the ARMS character is like, who's it gonna be? Who's the ARMS character gonna be? Like, which one is it gonna be represented? I never played ARMS, but I heard from like different YouTubers that they can't really go the Bowser Jr. or the hero route where it's like an alternate protagonist swap, because each ARMS character outside of Springman, Ribbon Girl, and 2 other ones, I forgot who they were, they have like very unique move sets that don't allow them to be like a simple like alternate to each other. That being said, I think the safe bet for a ARMS character would to upgrade Springman from an assist trophy and have Ribbon Girl be an alternate. And if they go route, it's gonna lead to all the fan rules in this DLC pass being broken as hell. And it will also raise like the debate of which assist trophy deserves the upgrade from assist to playable. And that's where a lot of Waluigi fans are gonna go out and harass Sakurai again and Nintendo again to put Waluigi in the DLC pack. Oh man, I feel like with this DLC pack, a lot of rules are gonna get broken. A lot of fan rules, expectations. The walls are gonna be broken. You know, Chris Jericho's theme song, "Break the walls down, break the walls down." Dun, dun, dun. So yeah, I think the safe bet is Spring Man and Ribbon Girl, but there are other characters that I'm a little familiar with, like Min Min. She won that online Party Crash tournament a couple months ago, and then I'm gonna say it, Twintel, because she's very popular in the not just the ARMS community but in the Nintendo community for reasons, just for reasons, you know, for those reasons. And then yeah, I think it'll be either one of those characters, but they could play oddball with the couple other characters they shown in that direct mini. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about the ARMS character being in Smash. I'm excited for it. We're gonna see which one it'll be in June. So I can't wait to see it. I think out of all the DLC characters we've gone so far, I mean, Terry was pretty cool. Like I still don't know who he is, and I will honestly never get to the SNK series, but I did like playing around with him a little bit, and I think the ARMS character I'm gonna like a lot because of the extendable arms, the long reach he's gonna have. He's gonna even be better than Little Mac. Come on now. It's gonna make Little Mac freaking useless to play as. So we'll see which ARMS character is gonna be selected for Fighter Pass 2, and I'm excited for it. I'm really excited for it. It's gonna be finally proper representation for the ARMS series. And then who knows, might get a sequel since it's gained like a lot of representation, a lot even got a free trial. It has a tournament. We'll see what happens with the ARMS franchise going forward. All right, moving on a little bit from ARMS because I've been bragging about it for the past 25 minutes. Let's talk a little bit about my takeaways from the yesterday's Nintendo Direct Mini. I was excited to see Take-Two's 3 Switch announcements. Obviously, I was pissed because I got a copyright claim because of the stupid music. But I was also pissed those announcements ruined my excitement. It turned it into disappointment because I want to show you guys. This Nintendo Direct March 2020. Hold on, I gotta turn it down because I don't want to get freaking copyrighted again. Okay, good. The music's muted anyway. Hold on, there's an ad playing for some reason. This is not from the Nintendo account anyway, so. Here it is. Okay, so let me put it, upscale it. There we go. And then let me put it on my reaction screen. And there we go. So, I don't know if you could see that. Let me upscale it a bit to 1080p. If you could see that, there's this little marker here that says there's a download and micro SD card required. So I'm pretty upset. Like right out of the gate, I was kind of disappointed. Actually, I was very disappointed. Yeah, all 3 games download and micro SD card required. I'm like, bro, you really like you literally had to outright ruin it. You literally had to outright ruin the surprise of that. I don't know. I was very upset with that. But for those that are excited, cool. But I don't know. It renders like the physical copy of those games really pointless. I can excuse Spyro Reignited because that's a game I'm actually enjoying right now, and that's a game I actually want to hold on to despite me losing the games in the near future once the server shut down. But I don't know. There's no point in releasing physical games if you still have to download a good portion of it. I think XCOM 2 is like 24 gigs, and then like BioShock or Borderlands is like 35, and it's like all the games use like an 8 gig cartridge. It's like, what price is Nintendo charging for these 32 gig cartridges? Come on now. Yet you have, again, The Witcher 3 and Metro Redux fitting all their games on the Nintendo Switch on one cartridge, no extra download. The Metro Redux collection even has 2 games icons on one cartridge. It's like so stupid. Like, what the hell? Why are these companies and Nintendo being a Mr. Krabs here? This also concerns me because if Take-Two and Rockstar, which are both like the same thing at this point, if they release Grand Theft Auto on the Nintendo Switch, I'm worried that they might be a Mr. Krabs 2 and put it on an 8 gig cartridge. It doesn't matter if it's like a classic 3D collection or Grand Theft Auto 5. I'm worried they're going to cheap out on that too if it comes to Nintendo Switch. So this reveal, yeah, BioShock, Borderlands, and XCOM are all cool games and all, but to download it, like to have extra downloads on a physical game, it doesn't give me hope. It doesn't give me hope, especially for a GTA Switch release. If we're expecting the same thing too for an eventual GTA game on the Switch. Also, Burnout Paradise Remastered got unveiled for the Switch too. It doesn't have a definitive release date. It only says 2020, but for all the crap I give EA, this is a game I actually am interested in like playing because obviously I like racing games and cars, and I don't know. I never played Burnout Paradise game, so I might take a look at it some more. Good Job is like it looked like the working. It's like a physics game. Like I don't know. It looked like a pretty interesting game. Like there's a bunch of stick figures, and then you have to perform a bunch of work tasks. Like you can either do it normally, or you can like screw everything up, like or do it like via creative methods. I find that game very interesting. However, it's like $20, and for that kind of game, I'm gonna wait for a sale. You know, I'm just gonna wait for that to go on sale. I mean, other than those takeaways, there wasn't really much that I found interesting in this Nintendo Direct Mini. It was pretty much filler. There was a lot of filler. There was Bravely Default 2. There was the Xenoblade Definitive Edition getting a release date. There was a bunch more anime mobile filler crap. Obviously, you got the Pokemon Sword and Shield, Animal Crossing. A lot of crap I didn't care about, but it was not a bad Direct by the any means of the stretch. Nor was it a great one, but there were still some things that I can look forward to, like down the line. Hopefully, once the bigger Direct comes, like whenever that is, that Nintendo hits the mark on what they have to offer for the rest of 2020. I'm just concerned with how the world is going on right now with COVID. We don't really know if we're really going to get that in June, but we'll see. Hopefully. And they even said that the whole COVID situation might affect the release dates and the release like windows for like everything that was announced in the general Nintendo Direct Mini. But hopefully it doesn't. We'll see what happens. Overall, I give this Nintendo Direct Mini a 6, just a 6. I'll be nice. I'll be nice to them. All right, let's move on to some WrestleMania talk, shall we? I know that's what some of you are here for. Some of you were here for the Nintendo Direct Mini stuff. Finally done with that. And now let's get into some WrestleMania talk. Some WWE talk. I know SmackDown is going on right now. They're probably addressing the Roman Reigns situation. Let me see what they're saying about that. No, they're not saying anything. Bayley did get a new haircut though. Bayley got shortened her mom cut. So nothing new yet with WrestleMania. So before we dive deep into this WrestleMania situation, I just want to greatly appreciate the WWE and as well as All Elite Wrestling for continuing to put on shows in spite of the COVID-19 situation, because it's like, even though all the sporting leagues are shut down for the foreseeable future and every event is getting canceled and all the sporting arenas are closed, and in spite of the show quality, they're making the most of it, and the wrestlers are risking their health and they're risking their livelihood. They on a show for us. Now, I know it's not the most ethical and logical thing for them, and it's selfish of us as fans to like say that, but it's just like, we gotta be appreciative of what they're doing, risking their lives for us. I said it in the past that postponing Mania wasn't really feasible because we don't know how the world is gonna look like come, let's say, late April, early like May or June, and we don't know when it's gonna cool down. Hopefully the sooner the better, but it's like the outlook is not looking too good. It's unfortunately only getting worse, and even if it does cool down by, let's say, June, sporting seasons could resume. It could resume, and arenas and stadiums would be inaccessible to WWE. Concerts also would probably be filled. Would have to refulfill their dates for those arenas. So it's like you can't really set a date for WrestleMania, like a rescheduled WrestleMania, when you have to take those things into consideration. But yet fans want them to do in MSG or like another stadium in June. There's an open slot in June, but it's just like we can't think of that right now. But with all the news that we got this week, I don't know. I am grateful. I am appreciative of WWE, especially WWE, for putting on shows. And even, yes, they are taping shows. With all the news they got this week, that us fans got this week, I hate to say this, but I don't think it's worth showing what WWE taped for WrestleMania. Yeah, I said it. They taped WrestleMania this year. making WrestleMania not WrestleMania. So WWE really took a lot of L's. They took a lot of major L's going into this WrestleMania, and a lot of it is not their fault. The whole COVID-19 situation really screwed them over, but there's still some fault on them too, because it's like they really wanted to go forward with this, and as we got nearer to the date that Mania was gonna be aired, the more it became clear that the wrestlers didn't want to put their health at risk. And this particular week, and we're probably gonna know even more, that this Mania situation is probably gonna be a lot nastier, and it's not gonna have a good look on Vince McMahon's company. So let's start it from all the way back. I mentioned on this show before that the whole COVID-19 situation not only forced sporting leagues to suspend their ongoing seasons, although the NFL free agency still happened, but it forced WWE to move WrestleMania to the Performance Center from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers' Raymond James Stadium. There were calls to postpone it, not just by fans, but by wrestlers, to postpone it until what most fans were saying until June, and move it to Madison Square Garden. But I argued just now, and also on the episode where I talked about WrestleMania to Madison, that I said we don't know if MSG or any sporting arena was going to be accessible to WWE, and also we don't know when it's going to be safe enough for mass gatherings to start, not only start the different sporting seasons again, but for WrestleMania too. Then, because this whole COVID situation got worse and worse, a lot of matches were getting nixed. They're getting axed in the can. First got the report that the Battle Royals were not going to happen because WWE didn't want to have too many WWE wrestlers in the ring at the same time. And then you had NXT TakeOver and the Hall of Fame not happening on WrestleMania weekend, which is why we're having WrestleMania take place on 2 nights. That's why you got the tagline, too big for one night. Although TakeOver matches are happening throughout multiple weeks on NXT TV. But it was over the weekend and throughout this week that WWE just, like, the whole situation just kept getting worse and worse and worse and worse. It's like, first they had to move from the Tampa Bay Bucks Stadium. Yeah, the once Jameis Winston experience, now the Tom Brady house of goatness. Not really, just the Tom Brady house. Now they gotta move. Then they had to move the Performance Center. Then now, like, it gradually, then it rapidly got worse as we're approaching the end of the week. So it starts off on Tuesday when you have Orlando Mayor Buddy Dyer, Orange County, in Florida, Mayor Jerry Demings, and Sheriff John Mina announcing on Tuesday Orange County will be under the stay-at-home order for 2 weeks. So that ordinance went into effect at 11 o'clock at night Eastern time. So that's 8 o'clock here in California. So it was. So what does that mean for WWE? Well, Orange County, Florida consists of Orlando, and it consists of Winter Park, Florida. So what does that mean again? Well, Orlando has the Performance Center, and Winter Park has Full Sail University, where NXT is aired every Wednesday. So when we're looking at it this way, the stay-at-home order, similar to the shelter-in-place that's in effect here in California, WWE is not an essential business. So the Performance Center and Full Sail are closed. They're closed. So WWE obviously had a time crunch on their hands. So what they did in the event that this was going to happen, this is prior to the the stay-at-home order that was in effect on Thursday, or was even announced on Tuesday, is that they taped multiple episodes of Raw, SmackDown, NXT, and yes, even WrestleMania 36. They taped WrestleMania 36. So, and these episodes were taped up to the point of the Raw after WrestleMania. So they finished taping everything on Thursday. So right before the whole stay-at-home order took place, went into effect. But you got TV deals with USA and Fox, and what do you do after that? It's like, if the situation gets better, like after the shelter-in-place order is done on Thursday, maybe you can go back to the Performance Center on Friday, the Friday after, but I don't see that happening. I think that they need to find a way to fill the missing episodes after the post-Mania Raw. I think this is a good opportunity to show the best of the WWE Network, like the best things that they got on the WWE Network, the documentaries, the best pay-per-views, maybe the best episodes from Raw and SmackDown. Obviously the ones that they can show, because there are certain things that they can't show on TV anymore. With like no access to neither venue, it's like there are also many reports out there that the majority of the roster doesn't want to continue working the shows in the state that WWE is in. Not only in the state that WWE is in, but in the world that's in. Except for one person. And that's Vince McMahon. Vince wants to continue. Now, I completely understand why the roster doesn't want to continue doing this. Even the workers at WWE, like the non-wrestlers at WWE, don't want to keep doing this, because even though like Dave Meltzer from Wrestling Observer said that nobody tested positive for the virus, it's like the wrestlers don't want to risk their health. They by continuing to do this, it's like social distancing is bad enough, but it's like getting into the ring, like with the sweat, the blood that they have to share with each other, and during these recordings, it's like they're at risk of like getting sick, and like they have to be tested as well just to get into the Performance Center. And well, Vince is continuing the show, and now it's becoming clear, like with all these reports coming out, that a lot of wrestlers have either been like excluded from Mania or have dropped out of Mania, like on their own volition. So starting with that, we got a report on Tuesday from Meltzer that Rey Mysterio and Dana Brooke were taken off the WrestleMania card due to being in quarantine. Meltzer mentioned that Dana Brooke was at last week's SmackDown show, but once she had that checkup, she was asked to self-quarantine. Meanwhile, Rey Mysterio, after he competed on Monday Night Raw, that Austin 316 edition where he beat Andrade, he had to go to quarantine because he showed signs of symptoms. So I'm actually pretty concerned about Andrade too, because he wrestled Mysterio, and we don't know if Mysterio at the time showed symptoms when he wrestled Andrade. So I would be concerned for his health too. Speaking of Andrade, per PWI Insider, he was pulled from his Raw Tag Team title match. He was supposed to team up with his partner Angel Garza against the Street Profits, but it's not a COVID related issue. He was actually injured during his tag team match against Cedric Alexander and Ricochet from this past Monday's Raw. It's like PW Insider reports that an NXT wrestler was brought up to the main roster to step in temporarily as Garza's partner, and that whatever they taped for this Monday's edition of Raw will set up an angle for the Street Profits match on whenever that's airing. But even then, it's like the tag team didn't make it much sense at all. The original plan was like Andrade, Mysterio, Garza, and Humberto Carrillo for the U.S. title in a fatal 4-way. But obviously, the move to the Performance Center changed those plans, and those plans were further muddied with Mysterio and Andrade being put on the shelf. So it's like, obviously, Humberto Carrillo was hurt most by this because now he's completely off the WrestleMania card, and Garza doesn't even have his tag team partner, and it's like this is like his replacement partner that WWE has to come up with a creative idea for I don't know, 6 days or 4 days, I don't know. Dave Meltzer also reported that Bobby Lashley was also in quarantine. That's why he's scheduled to have a match against Aleister Black at Mania. I don't know why, but he was put in quarantine following international promo work for the WWE's South Africa tour. So I think this match is this match was taped, by the way, already, but I feel like this match never should have happened at all. I think if this match wasn't taped, or if Bobby Lashley said, I'm not doing this match, then this match would have been off the card already. But the biggest news came from yesterday and today, and I was stunned by one of this pieces of news when it first came out. But first with the less settling news, but we know it's understandable. Mike Johnson, a Pro Wrestling Insider, revealed that SmackDown Tag Team Champion The Miz didn't appear at the WrestleMania 36 tapings because he was sick. Actually, it's the other way around. He didn't work the WrestleMania 36 tapings because he went to the Performance Center sick. This upset the Usos, as they were scheduled to team, as Miz was scheduled to team with John Morrison against the winner of a number 1 contenders match against the New Day and the Usos. So I guess the Usos were supposed to be the ones facing Miz and Morrison at Mania, but I guess that's not happening anymore. Now that Miz is out, but we'll see how they address that tonight on SmackDown and on next week's SmackDown and WrestleMania. I don't know, but Miz's illness was the biggest strike to the biggest news of all. In a bombshell story yesterday by Pro Wrestling Sheets, Ryan Satan, the WWE backstage correspondent, Roman Reigns, and is pulling out of WrestleMania over coronavirus concerns, that would risk his health. Now obviously Roman has a long history with leukemia. We publicly learned about this in October 2018, when he revealed it to the world on Raw. I was still very emotional about that moment, but that's besides the case. But apparently, it endangered like him having symptoms like he's more immune. He's more in danger. It puts. Let me rephrase it. COVID symptoms put Roman in even more danger to his immune system, which Roman didn't want to risk. So he went to WWE and he saw like the Miz's illness and the Usos' unhappiness with it, and Roman was just not gonna work with it. He didn't want to put his health at risk. He knew his history with leukemia. He knows his health, and told WWE, "I'm not doing this. I am not doing this because I do not know what's gonna happen, especially long term, if I do this match." So WWE honored that request. If Roman really went up to WWE for the sake of his health, major props, man, major props. Now the question becomes, who replaces him? WWE will most likely address that tonight, but it's likely that they're showing it right now as I'm streaming it. As I'm streaming this episode of Dylan Lasagna Live. But reports are going around that it's going to be Braun Strowman, and they said they already taped it during those WrestleMania tapings. But I'm just thinking to myself, what exactly has Braun Strowman done to deserve that spot? Other than criticizing indie wrestlers for not being able to support themselves during this outbreak. I don't think he deserves it at all. From a creative standpoint, he doesn't deserve it, especially after losing the Intercontinental title in a handicap match. He easily could have won, but I think his attitude has become a clear problem with that comment about like indie wrestlers not being able to support themselves. That's just a big attitude check on him. It's like, I don't know how he's deserving of it. But my ideal scenario for who should replace Roman would to make the winner of the Fiend Bray Wyatt versus John Cena become the number one contender for Goldberg. You know, have night one be the Fiend versus John Cena. Have the Fiend win, and then on night two, the Fiend and Goldberg have a rematch for the Universal title, and then the Fiend beats Goldberg in the same fashion, the same quick fashion that Goldberg did at Super Showdown, and he gets as a way to get payback for what he did at Super Showdown. But clearly, I don't think that's the direction WWE is going for. But that's their loss. We also have to consider the possibility that maybe Roman versus Goldberg, and who knows, maybe The Miz and John Morrison versus the Usos were taped beforehand, before The Miz got sick, before Roman decided that I'm not doing the show anymore, and this whole Ryan Satin report of Roman pulling out became public, but nothing was said on SmackDown yet. I don't think anything was said on SmackDown yet about Roman pulling out, but we did get some breaking news. Otis versus Dolph Ziggler with Mandy Rose in his corner is set for WrestleMania. So I do feel like this match, like, despite how great actually this feud has been, this is one of the only storylines that I've been invested in like lately. Really needs a crowd. I think this match needs a crowd. But it's whatevs. Let me see here. So yeah, Daniel Bryan is facing Drew Gulak or Sami Zayn for the IC title at WrestleMania now. So I don't think anything else is nothing else regarding that. Okay. So nothing else is happening right now. But anyway, it's just like, in all likelihood, I think Goldberg is going to retain the Universal Championship, especially if it's Strowman. It's like, I think WWE really wanted Roman Reigns to win the Universal title again at WrestleMania. When I say again, I mean a world title at WrestleMania. Have this little coronation at Mania again. And I'm also expecting WWE to change a lot of the matches if the reports of multiple wrestlers pulling out due to either being sick, showing symptoms, or not wanting to participate because of the concerns of the COVID symptoms. All in all, though, as much as I give WWE the benefit of the doubt for putting on Mania and shows in these times, WrestleMania could be a really well produced show. Since it's taped and all that, like, they can do a lot more with the taped show, like how SmackDown previously was in the past. But in the state that Mania in the morale in WWE is in right now, I don't think they should put this out. I don't think that whatever they got for WrestleMania, whatever they taped for WrestleMania, I don't think they should put it out. I really don't want to say like cancel WrestleMania, but WrestleMania is too big for one night. It's just too big to even consider showing. I'm sorry to say it. It's like the influx of wrestlers pulling out for the safety of their health is a sign that I don't think after WrestleMania, like, it barring, I don't think it will get canceled. Like this, like WWE pulls the plug on like showing it, like showing what they taped. I don't think that following WrestleMania, WWE and as well as All Elite Wrestling, yes, I'm gonna bring AEW because they belong in this conversation too. I don't think both WWE and AEW are gonna be able to do these kind of shows in these conditions for that much longer. Not just because they're in Florida. AEW's in Jacksonville. Eventually, if things don't get better over there in the Jaguars state, in Jaguar City, then they're probably gonna, AEW probably has to temporarily close doors too. As for WWE, they don't have access to the PC or Full Sail because of that stay-at-home order in Orlando. Roman, Miz, and others have either pulled out of Mania due to COVID concerns, getting ill enough to show symptoms, or just don't want to do Mania at all because, the situation. And again, with AEW, it's not that much better. It's like, good on them for postponing Blood and Guts. They want to do it at the right time. And actually addressing this whole COVID outbreak by name, like I always do on YouTube. Screw the monetization. I have freedom of speech here. But it's like there's too many restrictions like going on right now. And it showed on Wednesday's Dynamite. Last week you had heel and face wrestlers on each side of the barricades. Like, it brought energy into the show, and I really appreciated that about AEW. Now, this on Wednesday, there was nothing. There were only like a few select wrestlers there. Jim Ross was not there. Only Tony Schiavone was there with Cody. I think it was Cody Rhodes, Kenny Omega, Tony Schiavone, Darby Allin, Kip Sabian, Chris Jericho, Sammy Guevara, Jake Hager, John Moxley. I think those were the only people there on AEW that night. So it's just showing that even they can't keep this up for much longer. It's like, but the moral of this thing is, it's like, if this whole situation doesn't get better, like situations can change. The situation can change by day, whether cases get higher, whether cases get lower. But as it stands, it's like, I don't know. This, for some reason, this situation's getting worse before it's getting better. But overall, to close off this show, I really personally commend WWE for like going on with WrestleMania. But at this point, I can't even say that. It's like, I can't even think of what WrestleMania will look like because of the wrestlers' health and how they'll end up like following those tapings. It's just a concerning thought, you know. I just hope they stay. I just hope they're healthy, you know. So I just hope after this, there's an actual off season, because there's all these restrictions that don't make pro wrestling possible at this point. There's like, where else are you gonna film it? Where exactly? So just have an off season after WrestleMania. Once that airs, once they get back, once WWE gets back, once this whole situation simmers down, hopefully the sooner the better. WWE can shake things up. Brand new storylines. That's at least a positive about WrestleMania airing. All the storylines that Mania will have been finished, will have ended. Bring in some new faces to the main roster, some new faces to NXT, heck, even AEW. And just move forward. Look forward to the next show. Health over everything, Mr. McMahon. Health over everything, Mr. Khan. Health over everything, pro wrestling. And that's where I'm going to leave things there with this episode of Dylan Lasagna Live. I hope you enjoyed it. I really had fun with that with that little intro, you know, dancing around like a bumbling idiot. Singing about arms and Smash. But don't let this whole situation with COVID be all doom and gloom for all of you. We'll get through this. Some of it's overblown. The media, some of it's the media like instilling fear in you, and some of it's really scary. So just practice safe hygiene. Stay indoors as much as you can. Like, obviously keep yourself busy indoors. Go outside for an hour, get some sunshine. And I hope all of you will stay safe out there. Hopefully this thing ends just sooner than later. But anyway, thank you all for joining me for episode number 49 of Dylan Lasagna Live. Next week, the magic number 50. Not really as big of an accomplishment as I thought it would be, but 50 episodes. I'm really surprised that I managed to continue Dylan Lasagna Live for 50 episodes. I'm honestly proud of myself for that. It's like, you know, it's just like there's always a lot of series that I do on this channel, but it's like I've always like abruptly ended them. And Dylan Lasagna Live is like the one series, the one, like, I guess live show now that I've managed to stay course with for the longest time. It's like we're reaching on almost a year now. I think mid-May will be the 1 year anniversary, and I guess episode 50 will mean something to me because it's like we're like at the halfway point of 100. But next week I'm thinking of doing WrestleMania predictions, but it's like we don't really know what's getting canceled, what's getting added. But if we had a clear idea of that by Friday, before we air this, I might do a late Dylan Lasagna live so I can have a much better idea of what the WrestleMania card will be. Probably after SmackDown. We'll see. Then we'll figure it out. WrestleMania predictions, I don't know. I'm still thinking about it. But stay tuned. Stay tuned, as always, to the community tab on YouTube. And I just really thank you all for joining me for this episode of Dylan Lasagna Live. In case you missed the Nintendo Direct mini reactions, go check that out on the channel on demand, always all the time. In case you missed last week's episode of Dylan Lasagna Live, where I talked about the NFL free agency, check that out as well. And if you're not already, what are you waiting for? Make sure you're subscribed and give this live stream, this episode of Dylan Lasagna Live, however you feel. Like, dislike, a comment if you're watching the replay. Let me know how you feel. Anyway, everyone, let's bring it on home. Not with the arms, but with our usual outro theme. Okay, there we go. Anyway, everyone, always be delicious, and I will see you all next time. Take care, everyone.